The Smiler at Alton Towers Resort is one of my personal favourite roller coasters, and actually the ride which really sparked my interest in theme parks in the first place. There are definitely a lot of mixed opinions about this ride, but I think we can all agree that it's certainly both a unique and an extremely impressive piece of engineering, especially given the small footprint of the coaster track. It's fair to say the Smiler had its fair share of issues, especially during construction, with huge delays caused by the winter weather. I do recall after the park closing in 2012, there was quite a bit of snow and cold weather, meaning that the park were unable to pour the ride's foundations and construct the ride as early as they had planned originally. Quite a lot of the ride's construction actually took place after the park opened in March 2013, giving coaster fans pretty much unlimited access to keep an eye on the track being installed and the final stages of construction and testing of the ride. There are quite a few Easter eggs and hidden details around the Smiler which you may not have been aware of, and I'm sure there are more, so if there's anything that I've missed in this video, please do let me know in the comments down below. But for now, these are the top 10 hidden details, strange facts and useless pieces of information that you may not have known about the Smiler roller coaster. So in at number 10 we have the ride's hidden construction details. Now what you might not know is within the Smiler's original plans submitted by Alton Towers, several of its inversions were actually hidden. Whilst the track retained the same profile, the park chose not to show the track roll in several areas, hiding two of the inverted drops, the corkscrew before the vertical lift hill, and the final two inversions of the ride. Of course, the ride's first indoor inversion was also out of sight, so there was only actually 9 inversions that were visible on the original coaster plans. The original plans for the ride also featured a plaza area, which was never constructed, and a couple of extra head choppers around the ride. It seems the plaza was removed as a result of the ground not being as stable as the construction team had expected, and so the area had to be reinforced with concrete instead of the original sloped gradient down to the bottom of the pit. It's also clear from the plans and from the early ride concepts that the park had a totally different vision for the ride when the project was in its early planning stages. Just look at some of these original concepts, it really does look completely different to the ride that was eventually built. At number 9 we have some hidden features within the ride station and shop area. In the Smiler's original plans, it was detailed that the ride shop would feature a glass floor so that you could actually watch the ride go past as it travels underneath the ride's exit and shop area. The glass floor is actually still there to this day, however, unfortunately the effect isn't quite as impressive as it sounds. It's barely possible to see the ride through the glass, due mainly to how dark the ride's first drop is. Next time you exit the Smiler shop, look down at the shop floor and you can see the window for yourself. Talking of the ride's building, next time you're storing your bags in the bag hold area on the Smiler, take a look up at the ceiling. You will see that there are a number of paint rollers stuck to the ceiling in this room. These were supposedly left behind as a nod to the ride's delayed construction period, but they are quite unusual, and I'm not sure that you would notice these unless you were really looking for them. At number 8 we have the Marmalizer. If you look closely, you will see on top of the Marmalizer that there are a few satellite dishes. These were actually recycled from the black hole tent and were reused as theming on the Smiler, so a little piece of the black hole still remains on the site to this day. By the way, if you haven't done so already, check out our black hole history video. You can find out all about the history of the black hole, which was obviously the attraction that stood on the Smiler site before the Smiler was built. If you look closely in the ride's queue line, there are some hidden messages, and you may also notice the remains of some QR codes. The QR codes are actually from the Smiler the game, which was available on Android, Apple and Microsoft phones around the time that the ride opened. Players would be required to go around the queue line and scan each of these graphics in order to unlock parts of the ride in the game. Unfortunately, the game was removed from the App Store many years ago and it's no longer available. There is also a secret graphic in the queue line near the station showing the ride's code name, SW7 or Secret Weapon 7. If you didn't know, this is a code which Alton Towers have used on the majority of its major roller coaster projects, the latest being Secret Weapon 8, which turned out to be, of course, the Wicker Man. The Smiler features 2 inverted drops, and these are great inversions. I personally love them as the coaster speeds up as it travels through. The first inverted drop was actually one of the very last sections of the track to be installed, and as such the track sections needed to be aligned perfectly in order to ensure a smooth ride. Now on the day that they installed this particular piece of track, The construction team actually had a massive issue making the track fit, as it did not align correctly as it should have done. The engineers could be seen wrestling with the track for many hours before eventually they were able to get the track to fit. However, if you do look at the track today, it still doesn't quite line up perfectly. This of course doesn't affect the ride experience in any way, but just in case you've ever noticed and you've ever wondered why the track doesn't line up, now you know. At number 5, we have the Sanctuary Scare Maze. Now this attraction ran from the 2012 Scarefest up until the 2014 one. The maze also ran for a short period during the 2013 main season due to the delays with the Smiler ride itself. The maze is still widely regarded as one of Alton Towers' best ever scare mazes and followed the story of the Ministry of Joy and their past Marmalization processes. Dr. Kelman was the main character within this attraction and still appears on the Smiler's TV screen to this day. The Smiler roller coaster can actually be purchased from the ride manufacturer, meaning that at any point in the future, the ride could be purchased by another park. If you take a look at the Gerstlauer website, who are the German manufacturer of the ride, they actually list the track layout under their Infinity Coaster section. The Smiler's layout is listed under Infinity Coaster 1140. At number 3, we have the Smiler's unique lift hill system. As you probably know, the Smiler features 2 lift hills, with the second lift being completely vertical. If you've ridden the Smiler, you may have noticed that the lift hills don't make the usual clicking sound that you may be familiar with on other coasters such as Oblivion or Nemesis. The Smiler features a magnetic brake system on its lift hills, in which magnetic brake fins are lowered to let the train go past, and then they bounce back up into the brake position as soon as the train has travelled over them. If there were ever issues with the lift hill on the ride, this would slow the train down and prevent it from speeding back down the lift. This system serves 2 purposes. Number 1, the lifts are actually quieter on the Smiler and less noise is produced. And the second is that the Smiler trains can actually be reversed back down the lift hill should there be a technical issue with the ride. And this is a brilliant system as it allows riders to be evacuated from the bottom of the ride's lift hills rather than being held and stuck at the top if there was a problem with, for example, the motor. Talking of brakes, the Smiler also features a set of brakes on each of its small airtime hills. These are actually trim brakes and they were installed in order to prevent the coaster from overspeeding through the latter sections of both the first and secondary parts of the ride. The brakes are adjusted automatically by the ride's computer and will slow the ride's train down more if the ride is detected to be going faster than it should. You may sometimes notice the brakes rising and lowering for this reason. So as you will know, the Smiler comes straight out of the station and down a drop into an inversion. But what you might not know is that next to this first inversion is a secret floating door, and to be honest, I'm not sure where this door actually goes, or even if it goes anywhere. But it has a light switch and fire alarm point next to it, which clearly nobody is ever going to be able to reach. I can only assume this door was used during construction before the temporary scaffolding floor was removed from inside the building. But next time you're on the ride, have a look for yourself. So in at number 1, we have of course probably the most famous Smiler construction theory during the ride's planning stages. As we mentioned earlier, there was a lack of inversions on the ride in the original plans. But this didn't stop fans from believing that the ride would still take the inversion record. It was actually thought that there would be a secret element underneath the ride station, around the area just before the lift hill. People called this the washing machine element. Now, it may seem hilarious to think about this now, however, we all genuinely believed at the time that the park were planning on putting the ride train basically into a washing machine in order so that the park could claim the inversion record and program another inversion into this washing machine. Even more hilarious, every time another park built a coaster that would basically beat the inversions on the Smiler. Even more hilarious is the fact that the park actually added a video of a washing machine into the Marmalizer just to make fun of the whole theory. So that's it, that is my personal top 10 list of hidden details, strange facts and other useless information that you didn't even need to know about the Smiler. Now if there is anything that I've missed, please do let me know in the comments, because I know that this ride has absolutely tons of Easter eggs and hidden details, and it's another reason that I really do love this ride. So please do comment down below if there's anything else that you know of that I've missed and I've not included in the video. As always, thank you very much for watching, and if you did enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future videos.